The film begins in a camp full of children in the land known as Midworld. Soon after there is an alarm and a kind of watch that all the children are wearing start beeping for some kids. The kids with beeping watches walk towards a building and are strapped to chairs by creatures wearing synthetic skin. Walter Padick, aka the Man in Black, is in charge of everything. A young girl is strapped to the center chair of the machine, and the creatures use her shine to launch a powerful blast at the Dark Tower. This was all a dream by Jake Chambers, a teenager during the earthquake. Jake lives in New York City with his mother Lori and stepfather Lon, with whom he has a falling out. It's been a year since Jake's father, Elmar, died while attempting to save people from a fire. Jake is drawing another of his dreams at school when his sketchbook is snatched by a bully. Jake punches the bully and begins to attack him before being dragged away by a teacher. Jake sees psychologists for his behavior and the frequent mid-world dreams he has, which he depicts in his drawings. The dreams are dismissed as a result of Elmar's death trauma. Jake is seen on the street waiting for a bus when he sees a man with a displaced face adjust it and turn to him. Just then a homeless guy tells him to be careful that it's kids like him that are special they go after. Jake then rushes into the bus and walks home. He bumps into his friend and neighbor and they both head home. Jake then walks in on his mom and stepdad arguing about him. He is told by his mom that a clinic that works with kids having a hard time had talked to the school about him joining their program. He goes into his room and has another dream. Here he sees the gunslinger Roland Deschain is in the woods with his father Stephen in Midworld. When they hear Walter whistling, they prepare their weapons while reciting the gunslinger's creed. Walter appears and uses his manipulation magic to kill Stephen by cutting off his breathing. Roland, on the other hand, is immune to Walter's magic. He attempts to shoot Walter, but he catches Roland's bullet. He also sees an abandoned house in his dream and sketches it. He posts it on a forum to see if anyone knows where it is. At Lon's request, two people claiming to be from a psychiatric center working for the school come to pick up Jake. Jake notices the scar from the fake skin on one of their necks right away. Lori tries to persuade Jake to go with them for his own good. He then notices that someone responded to his inquiry about the house, stating that it is in Brooklyn. Jake sees this as an excellent opportunity to go find the house. He enters the bathroom and flees through the window. The two people chase him but he manages to evade them in the city streets. Jake makes his way to Brooklyn in search of the house. A machine inside activates a portal to Midworld. Jake is then attacked by a creature made of the house called a house demon which he destroys with his mind. He walks through the portal, through the vast desert, and into the woods, where he meets Roland. He initially believes Jake is working for Walter, but Jake shows his dream drawings and what he's seen in Midworld to Roland. Roland explains that Walter is using children with shine, a special kind of power, to attempt to destroy the Dark Tower, which connects Midworld to Earth. If Walter destroys it, he will release monsters into both worlds. Walter discovers that the portal that Jake used has been activated. Walter then goes to the house with the portal and finds a wood with Jake's blood. He then goes to a skin settlement and is told Jake has a powerful shine by one of his minions. Jake follows Roland to the forest where he has a nighttime hallucination of his father calling to him. Jake takes his father's hand and reveals a monster before Roland can stop him. It tries to trick Roland by impersonating his own father, but Roland is not deceived and kills the monster. One of the monsters escapes and attacks them, seriously injuring Roland, but is killed by Roland. Walter goes to Jake's apartment, where he is discovered by Lori and Lon. Walter murders Lon and forces Lori to bring him to Jake's room, where he discovers all of his drawings and realizes Jake is aware of Midworld. Roland takes Jake to a village of seers and consults with Ara, the strongest seer, to interpret Jake's visions. Walter's minions attack the village later that night. They murder a few of the villagers before one of them attempts to kidnap Jake. Roland eventually kills all of the other goons. As Roland tries to focus on his target, the creature advances. He hits the goon with a straight shot, saving Jake. Roland and Jake return to Earth and visit a hospital where Roland is being treated by doctors. They leave the hospital and approach the homeless man Jake saw earlier. Jake uses his shine to see where the skins have their base, and they both head to Jake's apartment. Jake discovers Lon's body in the living room before running to his room and discovering a burnt hole in the floor, leading Jake to believe Walter murdered his mother. He even has a vision that confirms this. Jake has a breakdown. Roland consoles him by promising to kill Walter. Jake is still enraged, so Roland tries to teach him gunslinger traditions, such as how to shoot and recite the creed, "I do not aim with my hand. He who aims with his hand has forgotten the face of his father. I aim with my eye. I do not shoot with my hand. I shoot with my mind. I do not kill with my gun. I kill with my heart." Roland goes to a gun store to reload, only to lose Jake to Walter's minions. In the gun store, Walter confronts Roland and manipulates the shop owner into shooting at Roland. Walter departs Roland and takes Jake to Midworld. Walter straps Jake to the machine and proceeds to attack the Dark Tower. Earthquakes strike New York, and the sky turns blood red. Roland arrives and proceeds to fight his way through the skin base and all the skins. Roland then activates the portal and Jake helps to keep it open with his shine. Walter then goes to confront Roland and they both fight with Walter constantly deflecting all of his bullets. Walter injures Roland with a glass during their fight and also throws a bullet at his other hand before throwing steel at him and collapsing part of the building on him. Jake communicates with Roland with his psychic powers and instills confidence in him by telling him the gunslinger's creed. Roland fires one bullet at Walter and fires another which bounces off the first and hits Walter in the chest. Roland then gets up and shoots him again and again until he kills him with a headshot. Roland sets Jake free and shoots the machine which causes the entire lair to explode. In the final scene, Roland and Jake are on Earth, which has returned to normal life after the earthquake. Roland invites Jake to join him in Midworld because he has nowhere else to go right now. Jake agrees, and they enter a building to use a portal. So, that's it for my recap of The Dark Tower. If you've seen the movie, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more movie reviews and recaps.